The staggering reality of the U.S. national debt has just crossed a monumental threshold, surpassing $37 trillion for the very first time. This alarming figure is not just a number. It represents a significant financial burden that has been accumulating for over 2 decades as Congress has consistently spent more than it has earned. On April 2nd, during a speech from the White House Rose Garden, former President Donald Trump highlighted this critical issue, which experts had anticipated would occur months earlier. The Treasury Department confirmed this milestone in a routine financial report, underscoring the gravity of the situation. Michael Peterson, the CEO of the Peter G. Peterson Foundation, expressed deep concern over the sustainability of federal spending. He pointed out that the national debt now exceeds the combined economies of both the Eurozone and China. We are currently adding an astonishing $1 trillion to our national debt every 5 months, he stated, emphasizing that this rate is more than double the average increase seen over the past quarter-century. Peterson's outlook on Congress's willingness to change its fiscal habits is bleak. He warned, "Our escalating debt is gradually undermining our economy and jeopardizing the future for the next generation. As the government continues to borrow trillions, it exerts upward pressure on interest rates, which increases costs for everyone and diminishes private sector investment. Within the federal budget, this debt diverts funds from essential priorities, creating a vicious cycle of borrowing, rising interest costs, and even more borrowing." He further elaborated, "While the sheer magnitude of our debt is shocking, what's even more concerning is that lawmakers seem to ignore the detrimental effects it has on our economy." The recent budget reconciliation package has worsened our fiscal outlook, adding over $4 trillion to projected deficits in the next decade. This figure could rise even higher if temporary tax cuts are extended or spending cuts are reversed. Maya McGuinness from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget described the $37 trillion debt as mind-boggling, a term that captures the unprecedented nature of this financial milestone. She noted that a more meaningful measure, the debt held by the public as a percentage of economic output, is also nearing record levels. Currently, our debt stands at 100% of the economy, a level we have only seen right after World War II, and it is climbing rapidly. McGuinness lamented that Congress shows no inclination to alter its spending trajectory. To make matters worse, we are projected to spend $1 trillion this year, solely on interest payments. This expense has now become the second largest item in the federal budget, surpassing both the entire defense budget and Medicare. Carolyn Bordeaux, Executive Director of Concord Action, connected the national debt to the future of Social Security, stating, "This milestone arrives at a time when Social Security is facing a precarious future. This program is vital for the dignity and prosperity of older Americans. Yet the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund is expected to become insolvent by 2033. At that point, we will face tough decisions, significant benefit cuts, substantial tax hikes, or financing the system through even more debt, which could threaten the economic stability of our nation." She added, "The impending shortfalls in Social Security are closely linked to our country's overall deteriorating fiscal health. And each year we delay addressing these issues makes the choices more challenging and the consequences more severe." McGuinness expressed hope that this alarming milestone would serve as a wake-up call for lawmakers. "I sincerely hope this figure is enough to prompt policymakers to recognize the urgent need for action and that we must act swiftly." Former President Trump has suggested utilizing tariff revenues to help reduce the national debt, although he has also proposed alternative uses for that money, such as providing rebate checks to American citizens. In a report released in March, the Congressional Budget Office projected that the public debt is on track to reach its highest level ever by 2029, potentially hitting 156% of the gross domestic product GDP by 2055. GDP is a key indicator of economic output. The CBO report cautioned that rising debt could hinder economic growth, increase interest payments to foreign holders of U.S. debt, and pose significant risks to both fiscal and economic stability. It could also limit lawmakers' ability to make policy decisions. A January report from the Government Accountability Office warned that unchecked spending could drive public debt to an alarming 219% of GDP by 2051, creating serious economic and national security risks. Gene Dodaro, the U.S. Comptroller General and head of the GAO, stated, "We anticipate that public debt will reach unprecedented levels by 2027. We urge Congress and the administration to take immediate action to devise and implement a strategy to tackle this pressing challenge. Inaction could lead to significant hardships for many Americans and restrict policymakers' flexibility to respond to future economic downturns or unforeseen events." As we reflect on these staggering figures, one must ask, what will it take for our leaders to prioritize fiscal responsibility? Are we prepared to face the consequences of inaction, or will we continue to ignore the warning signs? Share your thoughts in the comments below.